Welcome back. My next subject on my YouTube video blogs will be about NBA expansion and where the next two NBA cities will be. There's been a lot of talk over the past several months that NBA Commissioner Adam Silver really wants to expand the NBA to 32 teams. They have a new collective bargaining agreement extension. Now they're waiting on a new TV contract extension, which expires at the end of the 2024-2025 season. And they probably want that settled before they go into expansion mode. The last NBA team to be added was in 2004 when the Charlotte Bobcats, now the new version of the Charlotte Hornets, came into existence because 2 years prior, in 2002, the Charlotte Hornets, the original ones, moved to New Orleans. They were called the New Orleans Hornets until 2013. Then they got rebranded as the New Orleans Pelicans. And when and if the NBA goes to 32 teams, they're probably going to have to realign the divisions, having like probably either four, eight, four, four 14 divisions. I mean, eight 4-team divisions or four divisions of 8 teams, two in each conference. And here are probably the most likely cities that will get an NBA franchise. You gotta see the favorites to land the NBA's 31st and 32nd team is Seattle, Washington. Seattle had an NBA team for 41 years, the Seattle Supersonics from 1967 through 2008. They were very, very successful, winning an NBA championship in 1979. But when they got a new ownership in 2006, Clay Bennington, he said Seattle Arena, which is now Climate Pledge Center, was not up to par for being modern NBA arenas. He pressured the government of Washington to give him funding for a new arena. But they balked, and Clay had businesses in Oklahoma City. And in 2008, Seattle lost their team to Oklahoma City, got rebranded the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they've been very successful in the capital of Oklahoma. For several years, they were in the playoffs. They went through a rebuilding period for a couple of years, but they look to be on the right track back into contention. And Seattle's probably bring back the Supersonics, and Climate Pledge Arena is NBA ready. They renovated it, they rebuilt it for the Seattle Kraken. And another city that's probably a favorite to land an NBA franchise is Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas in the past several years got an NFL team. The Las Vegas Raiders moved there, and also an NHL team, the Vegas Golden Knights, in 2017. They're about to get the Oakland A's in 2025, and the NBA looks to be next. And there's already talk about like a resort that's going to have a arena attached to it, which rumors are going rampant that it's going to be a retractable roof that will sit over 20,000. But I don't really think a retractable roof for an NBA franchise is necessary, in my humble opinion. They probably won't be able to play with the roof open, maybe half the year, half the season, maybe in the winter months. but you also have to consider weather and also humidity. You don't want to have a lot of stuff on the NBA court where it could be a little bit too dangerous for the players to play. Don't know when this resort's going to open. It's been stalled on construction, but if they get that up and running, NBA is probably going to Las Vegas. Hey, they might have to play a year or two at T-Mobile Arena, home of the Golden Knights, if they get approved for a franchise. And now, here's the next list of cities that I give a 50-50 shot for something if ownership groups in Seattle or Las Vegas don't get approved or somehow fall through. Louisville, Kentucky, which has a history of college basketball, and they have an NBA arena, the Yum KFC Center in downtown Louisville. Plus, for many, many years back in the old ABA, Louisville had a ABA team. I think it would be perfect if Louisville, Kentucky got an NBA team. I think it would get a good season ticket base. But the problem with that, Louisville doesn't have any professional sports teams, and they probably would want a winner right off the bat. Also, Mexico City might be a possibility. And they have a good arena in Mexico City, but I don't know if many players would want to play half the season in Mexico City because it's in Mexico, plus distance of traveling might be an issue for Mexico City. Plus, there's like a lot of crime rate in Mexico City. Also, another city that might have a 50-50 shot is the Pittsburgh area, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They could play in PPG arena, and also Pittsburgh could have a built-in rivalry with Philadelphia. Maybe the downside of it is Pittsburgh's overall population is not that great, and I don't know if they would support an NBA team. They had a professional basketball team in the old ABA for a couple of years, and also when the NBA started, when it was called the BAA. And another city that might have a 50-50 chance, which this shocks me a lot, is St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis was home to the St. Louis Hawks for 13 years. They actually won an NBA championship in 1958, but they moved to Atlanta in 1968 because they played the Kiel Auditorium, and they wanted a modern facility, but they already had St. Louis Arena, and the city of St. Louis said, no way. I really don't know if the Enterprise Center is an NBA arena. Plus, it's kind of a little older, but they got major renovations for the St. Louis Blues, but I don't know of how many seats will be available for an NBA team. And I don't know if the state of Missouri would want to ditch out money for a new arena in the St. Louis area, but you've got to have like an ownership group. Also, cities that have long shots at best getting an NBA franchise. First is Kansas City, Missouri. They have actually a decent NBA ready arena in the T-Mobile Arena. Plus, with Kansas City has like the next town, like their sister city, Kansas City, Kansas has the Kansas Wildcats men's basketball team, but Kansas City failed as an NBA franchise back in the 70s and 80s with the Kansas City Kings, which they didn't draw too good. That moved to Sacramento, so it's a long shot at best. Another city that might be a long shot at best, Cincinnati, Ohio, which has good college basketball, but they failed as an NBA city because they had a team that the Cincinnati Royals from 1957 through 1972, even though they had Oscar Robertson as one of the as his top player, couldn't get through, um, develop a hardcore fan base. Also, another city that might be a long shot, Norfolk slash Virginia Beach, Virginia area. This 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 area is prime for a professional sports team. There was a rumor that the Sacramento Kings were looking to move there when they were having some arena issues. But they have a decent population, 3 million, but I don't know if they really could support an NBA franchise. The major arena there, the scope's over 50 years old, and it only seats 11,000 for basketball. That's too little for an NBA franchise. It might be good for a temporary facility until a new arena could be built, but I might give it 20%. Also, another area that is a long shot to get an NBA team, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey. The Nets played there for 35 years, first in the Meadowlands, the Izon Center, and the last 2 years at the Prudential Center. Even the Nets that had some good teams in the 2000s hardly sold out the Meadowlands Arena. And I can't imagine the New York City area supporting 3 basketball teams. I don't think New Jersey's ever going to get an NBA team again. Another city that's a long shot to get an NBA franchise that's been considered, Anaheim, California, could play at the Honda Center. In fact, the Sacramento Kings had like a letter of intent to go to Anaheim. They trademarked the name Anaheim Royals in 2011. They almost moved there, but it was blocked. And I don't know if Los Angeles area could support 3 basketball teams with the Clippers and the Lakers. I don't give this too much of a shot. Another city that might be a long shot to get an NBA team, Montreal, Canada. I don't think the NBA is going to add a second team in Canada at all. I don't see that happening. Another city that's a long shot for an NBA franchise, Tampa Bay, Florida. I don't think the NBA would want a third team in Florida. The Toronto Raptors temporarily relocated to Tampa Bay during the COVID shorted 2020-2021 season, but support was minimal because of restrictions. So, and if Tampa Bay ever got an NBA franchise, it might take away from Orlando with the Magic. If Orlando had problems with attendance or season ticket base, I could see them moving to Tampa Bay. That's probably the only shot Tampa Bay would ever get an NBA team. Another long shot at best is Hartford, Connecticut, because of the success of the UConn men's and women's basketball, but they don't have a suitable arena. The XL Center is an outdated arena. The only hope would be somehow like the Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods getting an 18,000 seat arena, which that's several, like at least 50 miles away from Hartford, Connecticut, and also New England. Most of New England supports the Celtics, and also the Knicks and Nets in Fairfax County, Connecticut. So I don't think an NBA team in Hartford would work because it would take away fans from those areas. And probably the most unlikely place to land an NBA franchise that's been talked about, London, England. You would have to add 5 extra NBA teams in Europe, like Paris, Madrid, Rome, Athens, which those countries have basketball leagues. But I don't think the NBA would want to, have their own teams in in Europe because that would, kind of make the European leagues kind of lesser on talent because I bet those players in the European leagues, if they found out there was NBA teams coming to Europe, would probably try to jump to the NBA. And that is about it on NBA expansion. I picked Seattle and Las Vegas to get a NBA team within the next few years when it's approved. And before I go, I am a intern on Crystal's Time Machine, a radio show for WCAP 980 out of Lowell, Massachusetts. It plays oldies music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Friday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. And Crystal also does a podcast, and it drops every Saturday on archive.org. Next week I'll be doing two more video blogs exclusively on YouTube. I won't tell what they are right now. I'm preparing them. I'll probably do a teaser on it maybe in the next day or two. Thank you for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.